What are you watching?
What are you watching? Elodie, le film!
The grand facade of the Numa Konaktepe Hotel, Konakli, beckoned me with promises of luxury and serenity. Oh, how terribly wrong I was. As I stepped into this so-called haven, a sense of unease settled in, like a whispered secret only I could hear. The rooms, allegedly sanctuaries of comfort, were instead caverns of despair. Stained carpets and mattresses that reeked of neglect stared back at me, like accusatory fingers pointing to the hotel's incompetence. The air was heavy with the stench of sewage, a noxious cloud that clung to my skin like a bad omen. I felt like a prisoner in a cell of filth, with no escape from the clutches of this wretched establishment. And then, the food. Oh, the food. A travesty of culinary art, served with a side of apathy. The dishes, an uninspired assortment of blandness, arrived at my table with all the finesse of a sleepy sloth. The temperatures were wrong, the flavors non-existent, and the presentation a laughable afterthought. Each bite was a tiny dagger to my heart, a reminder that this hotel cared little for the palates of its patrons. But, alas, the service. A slow-motion nightmare of incompetence. The staff, seemingly afflicted with a collective case of laziness, shuffled about with all the urgency of a snail on Valium. Orders were botched, requests ignored, and the once simple task of procuring a glass of water became an odyssey of epic proportions. I felt like a beggar, pleading for scraps of attention from an indifferent staff. And then, the entertainment. A farce of epic proportions. The mini-disco, a 30-minute embarrassment of a distraction, was an insult to the very concept of children's entertainment. The entertainment staff, 4 souls seemingly afflicted with a dire case of lethargy, spent their days lounging by the pool, Instagramming away, and leaving the actual work to the one poor soul who seemed to care. Bingo day, a certified nightmare, transformed into a relentless barrage of pesky solicitations, a never-ending deluge of buy. That left me reeling. But what truly galled me was the blatant favoritism towards Turkish families. A system of separate and unequal, where only the chosen few were granted access to the adults-only games, while us mere mortals were relegated to the kiddies' table. The winner, a 12-year-old child, grasping a bottle of wine like a trophy, while I seethed with indignation. Oscar, the boss, a name that will forever be etched in my memory as a synonym for indifference, dismissed our concerns with all the empathy of a stone statue. The entertainment manager, a mythical creature rumored to exist but never seen, was as elusive as a unicorn's tear. And then, the final nail in the coffin, the theft. A necklace, pilfered from my very own suitcase, a brazen act of larceny that left me reeling. The hotel's response, a dismissive wave of the hand, a not our problem shrug that spoke volumes about their stance on accountability. As I sit here, reflecting on the horrors that befell me, I am left with one haunting thought: how could a place so touted for its grandeur, its luxury, and its service, so callously disregard the very people it was supposed to serve? The Numa Konaktepe Hotel, Konakli, is a monument to incompetence, a testament to the power of neglect and apathy. What do you, dear readers, think? Have you, too, fallen prey to the empty promises of this so-called hotel? Share your stories, your struggles, and your outrage. Let us, together, expose the truth behind this facade of deceit. Okay, so I was, looking into things happening around Numa Konaktepe Hotel, Konakli. It's not good, you know? Especially if you're just going for 2 weeks, trying to have a nice time. It's mostly just people trying to take your money. Honestly, it's depressing. Businesses around here, a lot of them, they seem to. Well, they sell things that aren't real as if they are. Like designer bags, watches, shoes. You think you're getting a good deal, a fancy brand, but it's just a cheap copy. They even show you fake papers. Can you believe it? Who falls for that? But people do, I guess. Then, after you pay, the shop owner disappears. Poof. Probably moved on to the next tourist staying near Numa Konaktepe Hotel, Konakli. The person who got ripped off? They probably spent days trying to find them, getting nowhere, feeling so stupid. And the seller? They're probably laughing, counting their money, knowing they won't get caught. It's just unfair. Then there are the tour places. They're all over, especially near Konakli, advertising boat trips and excursions. You pay them, excited for your day, and then, nothing. The boat doesn't show up, the guide isn't there. Or it's completely different than what they promised. You try to find the shop again? Gone. Closed. They probably took everyone's money and ran, knowing tourists won't stick around to report it. That tourist? They ruined their whole vacation day. Probably angry, disappointed, and just wishing they stayed at Numa Konaktepe Hotel, Konakli instead. And it's not just tours. Sometimes, they just take your money and vanish. You agree on a price for something in a shop near Numa Konaktepe Hotel, Konakli, pay, and they just walk away. Or they say they'll get something for you and never come back. It's like they're playing a game, seeing who they can trick. That poor person? Probably felt violated, helpless. And the shopkeeper? They're definitely still running around, finding new people to scam. It's like, how can people be so heartless? Oh, and the prices. Don't even get me started. They lure you in with a low price, a sample, and then suddenly, the bill is way higher. They add hidden fees, extras you didn't ask for. You question it, and they get aggressive, like it's your fault. Especially in the jewelry shops. It's so stressful. You just wanted a souvenir from your trip near Numa Konaktepe Hotel, Konakli, and now you're being bullied into paying too much. I bet they walk away with a smirk, thinking they were clever. And the tourist is left feeling cheated and probably embarrassed. The businesses surrounding Numa Konaktepe Hotel, Konakli, present a rather disheartening picture. It's not simply a matter of occasional shortcomings. The prevailing characteristic is a systemic disregard for basic customer expectations, coupled with a pervasive undercurrent of opportunistic practices. This isn't isolated. This is the area. And frankly, it's left me with a weight in my chest I hadn't anticipated. It feels like a constant erosion of trust, a slow draining of optimism. Let's begin with establishments attempting to offer retail convenience. The Times Center, a supposed hub for shopping, seems to operate on a foundation of thinly veiled contempt for its clientele. It's a strange feeling, reading complaints of cashiers openly mocking tourists for simple requests, asking for Cheetos, for heaven's sake, in their native tongue, presuming they won't understand. It's a calculated arrogance, isn't it? A subtle assertion of dominance. It's not just about a snack, it's about a power dynamic. This sentiment extends to the shops within the center selling branded goods. The frequency of reports detailing counterfeit items, deliberately swapped for inferior products, suggests a deeply ingrained culture of deception. A pair of D-squared jeans exchanged for a flawed imitation, then the subsequent gaslighting when attempting a return. It's breathtaking in its audacity. The claim the brand tag was ripped off? Convenient, isn't it? Like they've run this play 1,000 times before. The entire center feels worn down, lacking basic maintenance, and frankly, overwhelmed. Several reviewers suggested bypassing it altogether for the more modern Nova Mall in Manavgat. And I can't say I disagree. It feels like a place time forgot, and unfortunately, ethics forgot with it. Moving on to hospitality, specifically the Quattro Beach Spa and Resort. The reports paint a bleak picture of a once promising destination rapidly descending into disrepair and indifference. The sheer volume of complaints regarding the water quality is frankly alarming. Plastic, cigarette butts, toilet paper floating in the sea? It's not just unsightly, it's a health hazard. And the staff's response? Apparent apathy, coupled with preferential treatment towards certain nationalities, namely, Russian tourists. It's a subtle, but deeply unsettling, form of discrimination. It feels like watching a perfectly good stage fall into ruin. Then, you have the recurring theme of basic services failing. Wet floors, forgotten bracelets, rude staff, its litany of incompetence. The food being described as inducing illness? That's not simply bad luck, that's negligence. The accounts of an assault, witnessed by security staff who did nothing, it leaves a chill, a silence, a complicity, that's far more disturbing than the act itself. There's also a disturbing pattern of discrimination against single men, being denied reservations. It's an arbitrary, baffling policy. It feels like a bizarre, unspoken rule, a hidden layer of exclusivity layered over a failing resort. The noise complaints, the unfulfilled promises, the constant nickel and diming for basic amenities, it all adds up to a profoundly disheartening experience. It feels like a weight on your chest. Then we have the Konakli Beach Restaurant. Or, rather, was the Konakli Beach Restaurant. A substantial number of reviews simply state it's closed. But even prior to its apparent demise, the reports were consistently negative. Cold food, tiny portions, unresponsive staff, and a pervasive sense of decay. One reviewer described the restaurant as having cats eating leftovers off tables. Cats. It speaks volumes about the standards, doesn't it? The older reviews lament a past glory, a time when the restaurant was actually worth visiting. But that time, it seems, is long gone. It's a ghost of a good idea, a decaying shell of what once was. It's like staring at a faded photograph of a happier time. And then there's Konakli Cafe and Restaurant. The complaints here center on appalling service, slow wait times, and a blatant disregard for local customers. The accusations of preferential treatment towards tourists, coupled with rudeness and a general lack of professionalism, are deeply troubling. The claim that staff will attempt to move locals out of prime seating to accommodate tourists? That's unconscionable. It's a clear indication of a business prioritizing short-term profit over long-term integrity. One reviewer stated they were told they couldn't order because the staff was preparing for a larger tourist group. It is a calculated disregard for the comfort of Turkish residents. There's a constant pressure to spend, a subtle but insistent demand for your money.